Before we start the video today, I want to show you a taste of a little project I'm working on.
よっしゃおいマジで来やがった。
So on the previous chapter of One Punch Man, Blast regained his arm and we were all left scratching our heads because the chapter before that, he lost his arm and One and Murata did not explain it. Well, we got the answer and we predicted it. It is a redraw. Again, the third Ninja Arc redraw has begun today, and although this is definitely disappointing a lot of fans, there are some positive takeaways, which I'd like to talk about. For one, Murata seems to be going back to his old prime art style. Some of the art that we've gotten here in this chapter is like crazy good. It appears to me that he wants to redraw this not only for the continuity of the story, probably to also make Blast stronger and not lose his arm, but he also wants to embellish on the art more. And also, this chapter is 26 pages, which is longer than he's been doing. So he used to do anywhere between like 25 and to 45 page chapters, and then he really started slowing down a lot and dropped them down to like around 14 pages for a good couple years. But the good news is he's planning on releasing the next chapter in 1 week. So although these are redraws, which is kind of annoying, at the same time, if he's releasing them every week, I'm all for that. And if you're wondering what the deal is with all of these redraws, here's a statement from Murata himself explaining why. So if we take a look at this statement from him from 2013, here's what he says. Regarding the specific advantages of serializing One Punch Man on the web, I consider being able to make any revisions afterwards one of those advantages. With print serialization, the editor is always chasing after me and I have to pull an all-nighter, sometimes several, in order to catch up. I'll end up submitting a large pile of manuscripts, and when I see the finished product in the magazine later, the feeling is always, it's not quite right here, or I should have done that there. I would have regrets every week, and it felt like part of the job. That's not a situation I enjoy. One Punch Man is a top priority of mine during its serialization. Once the manuscript has been submitted, any revisions I make is simply a way for me to decrease the amount of regret I have as a stubborn person. Still, the day will eventually come when my abilities deteriorate to the point I can no longer surpass my previous work. To elaborate on this, the day will come when my work will no longer be deemed adequate. Looking back at my previous work, taking into the account of the different conditions, I still don't know if there's anything that shows I'm giving it my all. Am I incapable of accepting the fact that I have dedicated my life towards drawing manga, or am I just feeling lonely? It's something I have continued to ponder to this day when I'm making my revisions. I'm really stubborn. The one thing I would really like to say is the repeated revisions are necessary in order to achieve the clear vision and correct interpretation of the plot. One sensei has given me many specific hints through the story and characters, and the mountain of scrapped manuscripts is a testament to his extraordinary ability. So what he's saying is basically One and Murata are both extremely hard on themselves, and they would rather just redraw this and throw everything old out until they get it right, rather than just passing through it and getting to the next arc. And this is because they both have very high standards for themselves, and those standards are what made One Punch Man popular in the first place. If they didn't have this level of self-scrutiny, One Punch Man never may have been as popular as it became, because that's just simply what it takes to make such high quality material. So in that sense, just let the boys do what they gotta do. I know it's been 2 years of Ninja redraws, but I fully support One and Murata and whatever decision they make. Plus, Blast is going to get his arm back and probably show us some really cool new moves. Okay, so let's go over to the cover page. Apparently this is the year of the snake, and lo and behold, Fubuki on the cover. Oh my gosh, we've never seen her before, and in all of her glory, and Saitama is playing his little flute. Summoning a snake, man, I'll summon a snake for Fubuki. I mean, is that what he's is that what he's implying? All right, so we're gonna go over back to chapter 195, back to the Hero Association, where Blast is talking with Saitama and Flashy Flash. Couple minor differences here. Flashy Flash is gonna try and one-up Blast from their first meeting in which Blast showed his speed. Flash saying, "What happened to the fight with God?" And Blast teleporting right behind him saying, "I was just about to explain the situation." So this is the second time that Blast has shown his speed. Is one in Murata trying to pump up Blast to be more of a cool character this time around because he was nerfed so badly in the previous revisions? So all this teleporting around is blowing up Sitch's office. And a lot of this chapter is much of the same. They're talking about Empty Void and God and the connections to the Ninja Village. And so we go through all of this explanation for like the third or fourth time now. But fortunately, Murata does give us some insane art shots in this chapter. Like, I really do think he's trying to improve his art a great deal. I think he feels let down, like he let himself down, and I don't think fans feel that way at all. But you got to understand that how hard this guy is on himself, and that's the reason he's become so good at doing what he does. And they come to the conclusion that the Ninja Village is simply a farming ground for recruiting God avatars. And there's even a point where Blast is like, "I'm really terrified of the thought that you may have became a God avatar." So we could have got Cosmic Flash. Man, I really want to see that. I thought we were going to get it in the Ninja arc and in the previous drawings, as we saw Flash take the partition of God, but then, you know, in the next chapter, Sonic had saved him. But I would love to see me some Cosmic Flash. I think we got a couple new Heavenly Ninjas here, so we have a similar kind of interaction between Sonic and the Ninja Village Teninto elite assassin team, comprised of the village's highest ranking ninja, or Jonin. But as we know from the previous revisions, these guys are pretty much fodder. They're not much for Sonic and Flash, and they're definitely nothing for Empty Void, but they're part of the story because they have to explain Empty Void. And as we see the art, I mean, he looks crazy. Their detail is insane. So Murata is definitely trying to one-up himself, or at least bring back his prime art style. But I really like the Empty Void where he looked human with the V on his head. I mean, I thought that was the coolest design, so I hope they bring that back, but that's subjective. So the Heavenly Ninja, they want to kill Flashy Flash and then move on to Blast. Insane art shots here, man. I literally just can't get over the art in this chapter is just so good. And then blah, 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 classic One Punch Man villains rambling on about, you know, things that won't really matter in the end. They all teleport away in classic Naruto style, and they say that man will be here tomorrow. So that means that we're going to jump pretty much right into Empty Void, at least. It doesn't seem like we're going to have that big fight between all of the ninja and Sonic and Flash. I hope not, but I think One and Murata probably understand that they need to get this thing moving. So I hope we don't get 3 chapters of Sonic and Flash versus these fodder, which was, I think, the initial drawing. And then when they redrew it, Empty Void just kind of attacked. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll see what he looks like when he comes out, because these images we're getting, he looks all shriveled up. I'm assuming he's going to have some new form again. We'll see. So we've had so many revisions of this scene and the scenes that are coming. It's like, it feels like you have deja vu. It feels like we're living in alternate timelines. We're remembering things that aren't canon anymore. And a lot of people are thinking that all of these redraws are not actually redraws. They're actually alternate realities caused by God. So there is this major theory that these are actually not redraws. This is part of the story, that they're alternate parallel realities and God is creating them. And as a reader, you're kind of seeing all these different realities. Although I don't think necessarily that is the case. That would be an extremely unique writing method, something that hasn't really been done before, I don't think. Without telling the reader, you're kind of playing mind games with them. But I feel like it's not really a good idea, because like when I'm talking about the story now, just even as a reader, or if I'm telling a friend, like I get my details mixed up because there's so many redraws. Is one in Murata trying to tell us something there? I don't know. I don't know about that, but a lot of people are thinking it. We get this absolutely hysterical interaction between Saitama and Flashy Flash, where Saitama basically says Flash is on the same level as Sonic, and Flash just like won't believe it. He's like, you effing dumbass. Dude, this part cracked me up so much. I just audibly started laughing out loud. So there's this side-by-side image of when they both got hit by Saitama and Sonic went through the ground, but Flash didn't. So Saitama's like, well, maybe you are stronger because you didn't go through the ground. And Flash says, don't measure your master by how deep he sinks. I just found it so funny, man. I just absolutely love the comedy. So hilariously random, and just Flash just doesn't want to accept that he's the same level of Sonic. And yeah, that's about it. But it seems like we're going to get Empty Void attacking again in the next chapter, and hopefully we'll get his design, and that's coming in 6 days. So as far as this One Punch Man vs. God animation, I have already done an entire storyboard for it. Actually put in a lot of work into it. And I was going to make this like huge community project and get all these One Punch Man animators and stuff. But then I started working on it myself, and I was like, yeah, I could probably do this myself. So I'm just kind of having fun with it. I'll let you guys know with a trailer or something as I get closer to release. But if you're interested in helping out in any way, send me an email or hit me up on Twitter.